Incantation, brother. Last time I saw you was on the Devastation on the Nation tour. Like, I think about a year and a half ago, you had gone through Seattle. You were on the bill with Dark Funeral and Belphegor. That was just a
Awesome.
brutal lineup. And your set in particular, I remember watching the pit, and you hit some real slow, kind of doomy parts to a few of the songs.
Yeah.
And the pit took on this surreal quality of people just power stomping everywhere. And I was like, God damn, this is incredible. It was just it was a really intense performance. And so I just want to thank you for coming on. I'm just gonna jump in, brother. We live in some strange fucking times right now, with what's going on with COVID. I'm just checking in on you, seeing how you're doing, how the band's doing, just kind of an update.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing fine. I mean, I'm living in North Carolina now. We don't really have it too bad over here, but I mean, there's still cases and stuff like that. I mean, just doing the normal stuff, try not to be an asshole about it, and just take it, precautions or whatnot, because we don't quite know 100% what the whole deal is with it yet. It's like people don't really have the, you just don't know with it, how it's going to work out.
We're still learning.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So, just trying to be cool about it and trying to, stay around as least amount of people as possible face to face and stuff like that, but overall it hasn't really affected, me that much. I mean, it's affecting the band because we were supposed to do some stuff in Europe in, summer. We're supposed to play some Summerfest, which totally sucks. And we're supposed to do, was Oblivion Fest in Austin, Texas in the beginning of June. So when this first happened, we were hoping that, it would just pass real soon, but it looks like, it's going to screw things up for a little longer. So, I mean, it sucks, but, everyone's health is more important than anything else. And as far as I know, all the guys in the band are doing pretty well considering, the situation. I mean, it sucks, but you make the best out of it,
Absolutely. And one of the patterns that's been emerging in these talks that I've been having is that in some ways, if you're able to, and not all people are able to, but if you're able to enjoy this pause for what it is, like you said, you're a road warrior. You're on the road. How many gigs have you even played?
Who knows? I can't even count. I've been going through some old flyers and old tour posters and stuff just to organize them, and I realized, like, fuck, I don't even know how many shows I played. There were so many shows we played. Doing this for so long that it's out of control. When you think about it, I mean, I wouldn't even know what number to say because I don't even know it. But
suffice to say, it's a shitload.
Yeah, it really is. It's a silly amount, and actually, the opportunities we've gotten to places to play and everything like that, and all the tours, it's actually pretty humbling to look at. Be like, wow, I can't, because it's like this break actually helped me reflect a little bit on my career because I'm not used to like having a good couple months where I don't really, I mean, there's stuff to do, but I still have more free time than normally. It's either working on tour stuff or working on album stuff. We just finished recording our last album, so I'm starting to work on new songs for another album past that, but I mean, I still have a lot more free time than normal. I'm used to going 100% all the time. So that reflection that I have, it's really crazy to, I just think how fortunate I am to be able to play music that, means a lot to me and do it all this time and do all these great things. I mean, because you just don't think about it. Like I just go and I just, we write music, we tour, we just do it because that's what we do. I don't really sit around and think about, like, wow, I got to do this, and you just go with it. So this downtime actually makes me appreciate our career, I guess, as a band and everybody, all the contributions that different people have made to it, and I just have way more time to reflect on how fortunate of life I've had, even though it's not a financially amazing life playing death metal. It's not a good game plan for being rich, but as far as like getting great opportunities and following my dreams, it's like, it gave me time to really think about it and how, fortunate I am. I mean, I've worked with such amazing musicians with Incantation and other projects throughout the years and stuff, and tour with great musicians either in other bands or with us. It's crazy.
As somebody who's toured so much that you can't even remember the sheer number of fucking shows you've played, are there some, now that you're kind of using part of this time to reflect back, are there some that you think of and you still get like goosebumps, like, oh God, I can't believe that show. That was such a great fucking show.
Well, there's a whole bunch of them, because there's great ones in different eras of the band and stuff, but there's certain ones that were just extra cool. Like we played the Canary Islands, I think it was in 2006. We did a tour of Spain and they added a Canary Island show where we flew over, I think from Valencia, Spain, over to the Canary Islands. And we had like kind of a day off to kind of just enjoy it over there. And then they had the show, and they don't get a lot of shows. I mean, that's off the coast of Morocco, so they don't get a lot of shows there. So about a year ago on tour in Europe, the promoter showed up to one of our shows and gave me a videotape of the show. And I remembered it. It was great, as we were playing it. But he gave me the videotape, and watching that videotape and just seeing the insanity of the crowd, like they were just one of the hungriest crowds ever. It was quite funny because so many people wanted to stage dive that there were just like almost lines of people waiting to stage dive.
Right?
But it's great to see that, the crowd, that hungry, because you play a lot of shows and the crowds are, always good, but it's just really nice. You really remember it when the crowds are like super hungry, It was like another show, the Chile Metal Fest in Santiago, and that was in '98. It was a metal fest done the right way. It was Death headlining, Cannibal Corpse opening, playing, and then us, and then another band opening up. So it was 4-band bill, but it was a fest. There was about 8,000 people in this place, and they were just going insane. I mean, it was so insane. I mean, they were throwing toilet paper all over the place. Now, who would be throwing toilet paper with this?
Yeah, but you'd be on stage like collecting it, right? Get the GP, man.
Yeah, but anyway, they were blowing off firecrackers and stuff and setting fire. And this is in like an inside venue too, and they're like, it was kind of like a I don't know, it was just like, I guess, a theater or something like that. But yeah, they were setting off firecrackers, Roman candles, everything. I mean, I just remember I was so into the show. I had a great time playing. And then after the show, though, I got really drunk, and I don't know what my problem was, but I've been good friends with Richard Christie, the drummer who was playing with Death at that time, and on the video you could probably see it. I'm such a jerk because I thought it was okay to just walk up on stage while they're playing the show and just tell them like, I'm so proud of you playing with Death, and it's great. I'm not even thinking, and I just remember like watching Death from the side of stage and almost again having to watch out from like the fireworks hitting us and stuff while we were playing. So that was a really fun show. And recently too, there was also another one from Mexico City back in 95 it was. It was for the Mortal Throne Nazarene tour we did, and it was us and Immolation and Acid Bath tour, and I seen them. Have it on our Facebook page. The crowd from that show, it's just insane. I mean, it's just so insane. I mean, the people are just going so crazy. And, while playing the show, I was just getting into it, not even really paying attention to the crowd and stuff like that. But watching
Right.
back, you're just like, man, these people are just so hungry and so into it. Such a great vibe. But, I can't complain because even these days, I mean, the shows on the Devastation on a Nation tour, like you've seen us at, the crowds are amazing. And also, we did that tour with Morbid Angel and Watain, and man, some of those crowds were crazy. I mean, I remember Nevin played Fort Lauderdale for a while, and that crowd was just so ready for us. It was such a great vibe. And you have to understand it, after playing in the band it's been over 30 years now, we've been doing this. It's like for me to be able to still be able to do it and still, play these shows and play, a mixture of old and new material and have people really appreciate it. It's a great, totally great honor. And I just feel so thankful, when I'm playing and looking out or just reminiscing on it because, we start the band, we're starting a death metal band, never expected to have this kind of longevity and stuff like that, and just to have so many records out and so many different eras and people that like different eras of the band. It's insane. I'm pretty lucky, because I thought, 5 years max, maybe we put out an album. When we first started, we're just like, if we get a 7-inch deal, we'd be happy. We were never really thought about we were gonna, have a band that was gonna last this long. It was never the game plan, but it just, I realized that I love it.
Were you surprised that you were able? What was out of the gates? Was it Relapse that you hooked up with?
That was the first real label. Yeah, we had a 7-inch deal with Seraphic Decay Records, but it kind of fell apart early on. Relapse took it over from Seraphic Decay, and then they put out our first bunch of albums for the first 10 years, I guess.
Absolutely.
And they took a risk too. They took a risk too because, what was it? The labels that were around then, like Nuclear Blast, Roadrunner, Earache, and what's it called? The other one from England too. I don't want an Autopsy signed, I can't think of it. Peaceville. The bottom line is that none of them really showed any interest in us at all, and Relapse was the only one that got it, maybe it was because they seen us live or something, but they were the only one really interested in us, so we were really grateful that they gave us that opportunity. And then when we finally did do our first full-length album and it took off really good, we were just as surprised as everybody else. We never expected it, I mean, it was kind of like, it was like a dream come true, but it was also just like, I can't even, how is this even happening? Because, we just had an attitude like, we're just going to be a bunch of assholes playing the music you want to play. We were purposely trying not to be like the other kind of bands because we had our own way of looking at things. We wanted to do it that way. We didn't want to do, we didn't want to just follow what a lot of the Roadrunner and Earache bands were doing then, because we were all from the 80s scene, so we had a little bit of a different perspective on it. It wasn't like we heard the first Terrorizer or Morbid Angel album, decided to start a band. We were incubating back from the mid 80s. Not it wasn't like a 90s thing where you hear
there's even some Kiss in there from the early 80s. Come on, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. I seen was it Kiss on Animalize, and what's the one after it? The one was really horrible with the Reflectors. Asylum. I seen all the Asylum
where they had the Statue of Liberty, and it was and at that point they had kind of jumped the shark. But I loved them so much growing up that I almost felt bad, which was a really bizarre way to feel at a show,
Yeah.
I'd rather be in the pit getting my skull cracked open like I do at your shows than sit there going, oh man, this is sad.
Yeah, well, they kind of lost their way. They're, they're a super important band for especially I mean, for myself and people in my generation, because that was like really my first band that I was like really into, you know. I mean, yeah, the costumes and stuff helped, but the music, you know, in the 70s, that was heavy stuff, you know. And I mean, so, you know, you know, it was definitely like a gateway to realizing that, you know, music somehow was going to be an important part of my life or whatever. So, and yeah, I mean, you know, the Asylum tour wasn't the best. The Reflectors, that was the one. What was that one song they had? Tears Are Falling. You know, it was pretty wimpy era Kiss stuff for sure. But I mean, I actually thought like Lick It Up was a good one. That was one of their best ones without makeup. I thought, you know, it was not so bad, you know.
And when I saw them on the tour that I did, I'll be honest, when they played War Machine, which was in the set,
that's a great
I was
one.
still throwing them up. War Machine. I love this song.
Yeah, I mean, they still played some good songs on the tour, you know. It was just that they let themselves get caught up in the glam thing, you know. But I think when you get to that amount of fame early on in your career, you keep kind of chasing that, wanting to chase that high that you got early on, you know, and you get kind of desperate sometimes, you know.
So I want to segue now quickly to talk about just give me a little bit about Beast of Revelation.
Okay.
So this was released in 2020. Like a month back or so.
I think it was March or something.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you do vocals only in this.
Yeah, I know I tossed in a couple of ideas guitar wise, more like just like lead wise. I don't even remember if they were really used or not. It was just like, you know, I can't help it. I'm a guitar player too, so I just said, oh, this might be cool here, and I sent it off to AJ, which is kind of like AJ and Bob are the masterminds behind it. And I just, you know, if they used it or didn't use it, I don't even remember, because I don't even remember what I wrote, because it was just kind of like on the spot kind of thing, and it wasn't about like I didn't make it a conscious effort, you know, riff wise or harmony wise. It was just kind of like if something just came to mind, I'd say, toss it out there. If they like it, cool. If you don't like it, it's fine. No big deal. But
what was it like for you to just focus on a vocal performance? Was that unique, or I mean, how did that feel?
Well, it was good, because for a while I've been kind of looking to do just a vocal project anyway. I mean, I don't think AJ knew about it, that I was looking for it, but I was kind of like on the side thinking about it. Like, it'd be nice to just concentrate on the vocals, because I never really did something where I was just doing just vocals and just focus on that part of it, you know. And it's
almost like a weird full circle, because I'm thinking of Onward, and you're like, you're not, you know, your guitar. That's your thing.
Exactly.
Now, 30 years later, you got your vocal project.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of, for me, it was kind of cool, because I've learned how to express myself vocally in a way that I feel confident with now, that if I was to just do vocals, I feel like I could contribute something that is quality. For a while, quite frankly, I was doing vocals because I felt like I had to, because we were having problems keeping a front man and stuff, and I was doing it out of necessity. But then at a certain point, you know, of just the repetition of doing it, you know, I started to feel more and more confident with the way things were going and stuff. And, you know, doing something like this where, you know, I didn't have to worry about the music. You know, music was all written and stuff. And he even came up with, you know, I asked him for a lot of the vocal patterns that he was thinking, because I wanted to, you know, my goal in doing the Beast of Revelation was to give them what they wanted, you know, to make their recording the best it could be. It was like, it was nice to be it wasn't my thing, you know, that the music is not mine. Most of the lyrics, one of the songs I wrote lyrics for, the rest of them I didn't write lyrics for. So it's kind of fun to be able to do it and just concentrate more on just trying to give the best vocal performance I could. I tried to do some stuff that was a little bit out of the box that I might not do with Incan and stuff.
There's some guttural screaming that's going on in there that's really fucking brutal. To me it's a little bit your vocals sit in the tracks a little bit different the way it's mixed. It's really fucking good, brother. It's really good.
I mean, I was really happy when I heard the final mix of it and how it came out, because I didn't have any input on any, like, how the mix was, how the things were going to be. I didn't really want to, because it's AJ's thing, it's AJ's project and Bob's project, and I wanted to just give them the tools to make the best album that they can. I understand that as a songwriter myself, sometimes all I want from people is to give them what I feel the song needs to be done, So, like, when I did the vocals for that album, I would do three takes of it with some different stuff, different variations and stuff, and send it to AJ and tell him, okay, here's three, choose what you think might be the best, or if it all sucks, you just tell me,
Would he cut the takes up sometimes? Like
maybe he would cut them up. I just gave it to him and let him do however he wanted to do it, because, I wasn't in the studio with him. I was doing this, from my home studio. So it was like, I'd rather just give him a whole bunch of stuff, let him sort it out, pick out what he thinks is good. And I told him, feel free to come back, and if something sucks or you don't like something or you want me to try something else, just let me know. It's not, my whole thing was, I want to please. AJ is a friend of mine, and I wanted to give him the best performance that I possibly could. And I purposely tried to do some different stuff, like I said, than I do in Incan, because I just felt like it fit with the songs. And the fact that it was a Doom release was also something that I really wanted to do vocals for anyway. Like, I would love to be able to, even perform it live or something like that. But, they do have another vocalist now that's doing their touring with them, or their shows with them and stuff. And I live in the U.S. and they live in the Netherlands, so it's not really practical. And also, I don't want to step on the toes of, his band that he has now with everybody. But, if the situation came up,
maybe at a festival or something like that.
Yeah, something came up, and everybody was cool with it. It'd be fine. And like I said, even if it doesn't happen, it's fine too. I understand. It's just that for me, it would be fun. For me, it would be just fun to be able to just go up and just sing. Because a few times, even on tour with Incan, like if I break a string or something like that, while my guitar's getting fixed, I'll just go and just do vocals, and I have a fun time now just doing vocals. 30 years ago, I wouldn't be caught dead with a mic in my hand, and now I go on stage and I feel like I could command the stage properly,
Without your guitar, you probably would have felt naked 30 years ago.
Yeah. Even if you look at some of the older footage that might be on YouTube or something, when I'm playing, I'm kind of covering my head, I'm headbanging, but I'm like looking down, just kind of covering my face, because I was so shy on stage that I didn't really want to, like, I wasn't comfortable being a front man. Now, for some reason, I just, after doing it, and you just, I've been able to listen to it on album, and I feel more comfortable. I feel like I'm able to get across things the way I want to. It took a while, though. It wasn't, it was a progress. It's kind of crazy that at this point in my career, I feel more confident as a vocalist and a guitar player than I did 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I felt comfortable as a guitar player, and I had a lot of piss and vinegar, which was really...
That's what it is. It's that early 20s piss and vinegar, man. We all thought we were the shit back then.
Yeah,
I'm like a year younger than you. We're both graybeards. I know.
Yeah. But but now, it's like, it's good, because now I feel comfortable, though, on stage, more comfortable. Like, I was pissed off early on playing, and it was really pissed off and mean, and a good vibe. But now it's like I go on stage and I feel like this is the place I'm supposed to be. Like, I just feel confident after accomplishing so much with the band over the years through a lot of, negative, positives, trends, whatever you want to say. It's like now when I get on stage, it's like, I have the backing where I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm here to kill some posers,
And it's funny because these past couple of years, with a lot of the releases that have come out, there's been this idea of, oh, we're coming back to old school death metal, right?
Yeah, I know.
Here you are, like, I never fucking left, buddy.
Yeah.
Which is a good way to talk about. It seems like calendar-wise, we might be due for something here from Incantation. So let's tease some people here. What do we got coming out? Is it the same lineup as Profane Nexus? Because that album fucking killed.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really happy with the way Profane Nexus came out. Yeah, the new album has the same lineup as Profane Nexus, but we do have some added guitar stuff from Luke, who was their touring bass player. He did some guitar work for it too. And we don't have like a release date or any of the details for the new album yet, because with this coronavirus stuff, it kind of screwed everything up with that. Originally, actually, we were supposed to have it out probably already, but it was in January when we kind of had everything put together. We realized that the artwork there was a problem with, and we had to get artwork redone at the last minute. It delayed everything, and then the coronavirus stuff came. So now we don't really know exactly what's up, But I mean, we're really happy with it. It has it's hard to say. I mean, we wouldn't do it if we weren't happy with it,
It's okay to brag on yourself for a little bit.
It's it has a lot of everything that I think is important in the band. I mean, people kind of know what to expect with Incantation. In order to get old school death metal, there's definitely a lot of faster stuff, some a lot of doom stuff. We did some really cool doom stuff, I think, on Profane Nexus, kind of tried to push the limits at a couple areas and try, and the same with the new album that's coming out. There's areas where we try to push things to a different, another limit or whatever. It's kind of like each time we try to focus on a certain aspect of the band, a certain aspect of the personality of the band, or what we're trying to get across on each album. So they all have like their own personality too, but at the same time, they're all connected by, the core values of the band. Because for me, and I think it's with any great band, no matter what kind of music it is, I think it's very important to, remember where you come from before doing it, and only do it if it's, sincere to the concept and ideas what you started from. Because, the stuff that made us, our first 7 inches, our demos, our first album, our second album, those are all fundamentals that are, important and stuff that I'm proud of. And it's like, I want to continue that and move on from it to some extent, but also, not forget about it. I mean, so many bands, they forget about the core values that made that band important. And I mean, I'm a metal fan from, I guess I'll say from the 80s, really, So, like, I've had to deal with the trials and tribulations of bands like Judas Priest putting out Turbo after Defenders of the Faith, or
I saw that tour, brother.
I seen Turbo too, but I seen Defenders of the Faith.
Came out and it had Glenn Tipton and KK Downing up like that. At the time, I thought it was fucking great, but I look back on it now and it's like, okay, that is Spinal Tap, it just needed to get stuck and it would have been.
Yeah, but I mean, there was a lot of great metal bands and even thrash bands that put out amazing early material, or at least like pissed off early material, and then once they get to a certain level or a certain amount of albums, they try to commercialize, even if it's slightly, they try to commercialize somewhat, And a lot of times they push it too far where they lose the essence of what the band's about. And that's something that is important to me, is that I never want to lose what it's about, because there's no good reason for me to do it if, I'm not going to have it be sincere, because I have a discography that I could look back on and I could be proud of. I don't have to, not everything is perfect. Not all the recordings are the greatest. Not every single song is my favorite necessarily, but they all mean something to me. And they all were very sincere, and we did never put a lot of thought into the time or the trend that was going on, because it might be cheesy, but I look at it as an old school, like back with the Exciter days, or say Manowar, or something where you're proud to be metal, And I always looked at it, we're proud to be death metal, and we're going to be death metal when, say black metal was more popular for a while. We're still going to play death metal and do it proudly, even if we're sinking with the ship, of death metal. Or we would do it when, let's say the symphonic band started coming out in the 2000s. We were still very stubborn to say, like when most bands are putting out, their Halloween cover band, we did an album like Blasphemy, where it was probably our most death metal, straightforward death metal album, and we did that on purpose, because we were just like, fuck all this trend, we want to strip it right back to the essentials, 100% to the essentials, just dark.
It showed up in your production over time too. I mean, you have, at least from my kind of ear, you've managed to shy away from the overly produced tendency that took over death metal for a while.
Yeah.
Managed to keep you talk about live. You're somebody who feeds off a fucking crowd, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that Incantation song is best when you have that energy. And I think production-wise, you've really tried to maintain that throughout the years as well.
Yeah, and production for a band like us was really difficult from day one, because especially back then, people didn't know how death metal was supposed to sound. They would use a thrash metal template, and it was just like, it just didn't work for us. And a lot of the early death metal, you can kind of tell it has it's a thrash template to the mix a little bit, but we never wanted that. We wanted this overbearing heaviness, this almost more like a doom metal type sound to the album, even on the faster parts, because we weren't so concerned about everyone knowing the articulation of the riffs. It was more the vibe you get with the riffs. It's more of an aura thing. And throughout the years, it's always been a task for us to try to find that right area for mixing and stuff like that, because it got weird, because once there started to become some bigger producers that were doing death metals, and they started to make this death metal sound, we were still fighting it, because like that wasn't our sound. Just because it's the death metal sound, even though we're pure death metal, that still sound doesn't work for us. We don't fit into those boxes. And it was weird, because towards the end of the 90s, death metal bands started coming across to me like having rules to some extent, and I was just like, no rules. There's no rules except to be true to yourself and to express yourself. It's not, it doesn't matter. Like, it started to become like this beats per minute thing, and a talent show, or just trying to be the fastest or slowest. They're missing the point. We have fast stuff and slow stuff, but the speed of it isn't so important. It doesn't matter if it's fast or slow. It's the feeling you get when you hear it. You want to sit back and you want to go through a journey with the song. You don't want to just, it doesn't, I don't care if somebody says, oh, that's the fastest, or, this most technical part, or, to me, it was never important. I mean, I like fast bands, don't get me wrong, but I never thought of that as like, it's not, the race doesn't matter, it's because a lot of times you play slower than the fastest band, and it sounds more aggressive than just someone that's just tapping the snare drum super lightly, just going. I mean, all that is a speed. It's not a feeling. I want every one of those hits to mean something.
And you actually, by purposefully constructing your song so you're varying the tempo and the
Yeah,
changes.
the
Well,
journey.
yeah, exactly. You're making the fast parts stick out even more, and then when you kind of downshift for lack
Yeah,
of a
yeah.
word, that
Put the
so
brakes on.
yeah, it just takes on a more brutal sense there. When I was a kid in the 80s, and then I have one more question for you. I used to have this kind of comparison in my head. Neil Young, who can
Yeah,
play one out. He's not metal, but he can
yeah,
hang one note for a couple
yeah.
measures
Of
and
course, yeah. A lot of feeling.
feel. And then Ingve, who and this was late 80s, so I
Yeah.
used to have a diagram. On one side is typical, and the other side is Neil, and I always kind of drifted off to the guy who can play the one note just really fucking great.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, when I look at it, there were bands like Trouble and Candlemass and stuff, and of course Black Sabbath. Real doom bands, like killer doom parts or whatnot. But then I also was really into bands like I don't know Possessed, Early Death, Morbid Angel, like demo era stuff like that, stuff that was still pushing the limits. Both of those aspects were important to the music. It wasn't like you had to sit down and be like, well, we're going to do just doom or we're just going to do fast. That's to me that was just stupid because it's like I like both just the same because they both tell me something different.
and they get you there, so why fucking choose, right?
Yeah, why? Well, exactly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it comes from. As long as when you hear it, if you feel it, like that's like when we play live. There's certain songs we just play and we just hit those like heavy fucking parts, and you just feel the power. I mean, even just playing on a guitar, you're just like, fuck yeah, this rules. You feel like that same feeling. I got when I've seen, I don't know, a band like Carnivore play live, and they hit their low part. You're just like, ah,
Yes.
you know.
You feel it as much as you hear it, almost.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
incredible. So here's the last question. We've got this crazy thing that we're all going through. I know live, getting out and playing is probably going to be on the top of the list or right up there. So if I took that away from you and I said, what's the one thing that John is looking forward to on the other side of COVID? What's the one thing you're like, God damn it, I can't wait to do that?
I don't know. I just can't wait to get out into nature or something like that, and just be able to just enjoy. It's weird, but I almost to enjoy the solitude of being free. It's because I don't need to be around people. It's like I'm not necessarily a very social person all the time. I'm going to talk about metal. Yeah. The metal community is like where I'm comfortable at, but being out in like normal people land, it's like, it's not my thing or whatever. So yeah, I'd like to just be able to, go out either to the woods or just go to, a beach or an island or just something like where I could just, do that, or even just, I mean, just for me, just to go somewhere and just drive for a while and just kind of play it by ear or something like that. Of course, besides that, go to like a, killer metal show or something like that. I mean, I love going to metal shows and stuff. So once that gets back, I'm gonna be really excited to go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for me, I'm gonna be psyched to just get back and record some stuff too, and get with the band because I've been working on so much stuff in this time.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that's a songwriter, this time is like a downtime. It's great, but it's like it could drive you crazy as a songwriter because the ideas, just start to flow. It's almost like sometimes when you tour, it suppresses my writing thought because I'm thinking on another way. But then when I get back home,
That kicks back up.
it kicks back up, and I'm like, oh, I got this idea and that idea, and anybody that's like a songwriter, stuff like that, knows that it's really, it's a good feeling to get it out, but it also sometimes can get really annoying because you're just like, fuck, I want to do something else, but this riff keeps going do in my head. That's why like getting out to like nature or doing something like that could clear my head of music, clear my head of all the bullshit in the world and stuff like that. And yeah, maybe I could do that now, but it's not really the best time with all the stuff going on. It's to do that. Right now, I've been trying to be good and just stay home as much as possible. Only go out when I have to, and not, like I said. But for me, it's not so bad. For other people, it's people that are maybe more extroverts or whatever are it's a problem. But I'm more of an introvert, so I don't mind being at home anyway.
Right on. Absolutely. Well, John, I want to thank you very much for taking some time to have a conversation about just kind of the way things are now and just kind of how the music is and how the music is going. I want to tell you to be safe, and I'm looking forward to the next time I can bang my head to Incantation, man.
Well, thank you very much. You be safe too, and to anybody out there, just be safe, and we just gotta hope this shit gets done with. Just try to do your part the best you can to get rid of this, because it really fucks up so many people. I mean, just anything from bands to people starting businesses, to people working and stuff. I mean, it's a real tragedy, and hope that this could get solved as soon as possible. But these kind of things, who knows? But I'd rather be part of the solution than part of the problem.
I don't think there's a better way to end the interview than that sentiment right there, my friend. So
Thanks.
Again, thank you very much. Be safe, and we'll see you on the other side.
Cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You got it.
Cool.